Hey guys, so in this video we are going to talk about trust, or rather the perception that you are going to give at least somebody with a little bit of know-how when you are a junior with a very impressive CV. So let's get into it. Now, let's just start with some context, because we love context. Context is good because it gives meaning to the words that we say, or rather the words that I say. Anywho, I made a video not that long ago where it was named something along the lines, diverse juniors are dangerous. And in this video I try to promote I try to share the reasoning as to why diverse CVs are very powerful, and the perception that naive business people have about a diverse CV. And virtually I just try to summarize things in this manner. I try to explain to you that a diverse CV is in of itself not a good thing, unless you ask the fundamental question, how have you achieved this diverse portfolio of knowledge? Because if you are say a junior developer or some sort, and you have it in your head that, oh, if I know a lot of tools, then I'm really valuable on the job market. And that, don't feel bad if that's the way that you've been thinking about it, because it's the way that really dumb companies think about it as well, or at least very naive recruiters, and they're just going to waste your time, because it's not about the amount of stuff that you can put on your CV. It is about what you can actually do, and that's what I want to talk to you. So if you have the unfortunate situation of applying for a job where my boss will ask me to give you an evaluation, to look at your CV, I'm going to think of a few things. Now, this is highly subjective, of course, but this is the way that I presume, or rather one of the ways that I think that professionals will look at your CV, because you have to kind of remember that not everybody who is going to look at your CV is going to be a hardened veteran. Now, I'm not a hardened veteran, but I know a few things about programming, and I know a few things about the industry. And if I look at your CV, I'm going to ask one set of questions. And if a recruiter who is an absolutely non-technical person looks at your CV, they're going to look at a very different set of questions, or at least ask a very different set of questions. So, if I'm the one who's looking at your CV, no, actually, let's start with the recruiter. The recruiter is going to look at your CV with the following questions in mind. All right, does this person seem to have the necessary requirements from their client's perspective? Because their client has most likely given them a set of requirements as to what they're looking for in terms of experience, knowledge, so forth and so forth. That's the first question. Do you have what on paper what is needed? The second thing is that they're going to look at the whole. In other words, does this person seem to be the sort of person who can be presented to their client? Now, this is a little bit vicious, because, and this is why I really don't like a lot of recruiters, because you might think that it's interesting to them to find the best fit for their client, and you only present the things that seem very relevant, but that's not true. You see, it is very, very tricky to find good people in IT. And as a recruiter, depending on their deal, it's not always just about the deal, but just think about it. It's actually very interesting to them to present candidates regardless if they believe that these are good people or not. I've actually had issues in other companies where the deal with the recruiter is that they need to put forward at least 10 candidates within a given time frame, which means that, of course, that they're going to just pick somebody. They're going to waste your time, they're going to waste the candidate's time, just because they need to fill the quota. I've seen this 100 times. Like recruiters, even if I tell them that I'm not interested, they will push me or try to push me to just talk to the client. And that's not because, partly because maybe they believe that I will be convinced, but I believe, at least what I've seen, that it's actually more about making their client feel as if they are doing a good job. So that's a vicious cycle. But anyway, those are the fundamental things that someone like that is going to look at. Now let me tell you what I will think when I look at your CV. The first question I will ask myself is, all right, what are the skills? Okay, what jobs have you had? And are you upfront about what you've been doing? Because if you tell me, I look at this very carefully, because I know that there are a lot of developers out there who program or who behave in a way as if they're more skilled than they are. This is especially true in senior developers, unfortunately. And this is why I tell you that it doesn't matter how many years you have, unless you stay relevant, you're not worth anything, at least not to me. And I've seen this 100 times. I see these older men or middle-aged men who come into a job interview for the tech lead position, and all they do is talk. I can't ask them a direct question about anything in IT, but they're very good at evading my questions. And they are good at evading my questions because they spend most of their time in PowerPoint presentations. And if my boss asks me, okay, what do you think about this person? I say, dismiss him immediately. He has no idea and he doesn't know anything about programming anymore. He might have at one point, and he's probably going to be excellent if he as a technical salesman or something of that nature, but not as a tech lead. Because I'm one of those people who believe that if you're going to be a leader, you need to be the thing that you need to be doing. I think of it this way: would you want to be part of an army where the general has never seen battle? I wouldn't. Anywho, that's the first thing I look at. Can I see that you know things? That's number one. Number two is, and this is more for the juniors out there, number two is, I look at the actual skills that you claim to have, and I look at your total experience. And this is where this earlier video comes in, when I'm saying that diverse juniors are actually very suspicious. At least to me, it's very suspicious if I see a junior who has just basically literally come out of the university. They're like literally starting their career, and I see that they have Angular, React, Vue, and say Java and Node.js. Like, they have a range of different tools on their CV. If you have all that stuff and you literally just came out of school, then I will immediately assume two things, or rather I will guess two things. The first thing is that I will be a little bit suspicious about that skill range. I will ask myself, okay, this person can either be extremely passionate or they're lying to my face, because there's no way that you can be good or skilled or have a good amount of knowledge about all those tools in this short amount of time. It's simply not feasible. It is like an unfit person claiming that heavily overweight, claiming that they can run a marathon. It's like it doesn't seem feasible, right? So where I'm going with this is that this is the tip I want to give you. And it's the tip I gave to my other subscribers. Get good at the thing that you are working on right now. Do this. Instead of trying to be really, really, really diverse early on in your career, and try to impress somebody like me, for example, with all the things that you know, get good at one thing. Because the thing is that the only time you may feel that this is a risk, because maybe you feel that, oh, I need to be diverse because that increases my likelihood to actually get a job, or to have options and so forth. And yes, it is true that having a diverse knowledge base is going to give you a lot of options, but you have to ask yourself, at what stage in your career are you? Because when you start out, nobody starts out being diverse. You become diverse. And as I said in my previous video, the ideal case is that you become diverse through learning one thing and then moving on to the next thing. But when you're at step one, you need to be good at that thing. Because if I'm going to hire you, I don't care if you know a million things, because I'm not hiring you for a million other things. I'm hiring you because you know the thing that I'm looking for. And if you're really good at that thing, I will hire you. Not because you know a million other things. And that's why it's so powerful for you to start with one thing and then move on to the next thing, because the diversity should come from you mastering one skill set and then moving on to the next one. Just think about it and have a great day.